Oh no. Oh no. Oh, great. Okay. I've made a mistake. I've made a mistake. I've made a mistake. Okay, hold on. I started my preference island. Hi, Bam Bam. Ah, that's my bad. Hold on. Okay. There we go. That should be fine. Stocking! Yes, it's National Stockings Day. Isn't that fun? Is that good? Wait, no, that's the wrong button. Okay. I think I should have fixed the problem, I think. That was crazy. That was a crazy echo. Am I wearing one for celebration? All right, now it's too hot. It's too hot. It's another national day, is it? Oh, is it Boba Day? Is it actually? Happy National Stockings Day. Should you also go get your programming stocking? Do you have one? Those are fun. I think that's very fun. Okay, I think everything is fine now. Okay, yes, yes. You don't? Okay, well, you should. Treat yourself. Yeah, alright. So, I thought it would be fun to me. Maybe it's not going to be fun for you guys, but it's fun to me. I did a bunch of research about stockings, so we're gonna talk about them. Shijo, hello, welcome in. Blanc, hello, welcome in. It's National Stockings Day. Is it? Hold on. Is it Boba Day? I don't think it is, right? Now I'm curious. Boba Day. When is that? I didn't think it was. It's April 30th. Okay, that's late. Don't LMAO me. Stop it. Anyway, I'm starting late. Even though I delayed the stream. I'm still late because I was talking with one of my housemates about horrible drivers. Horrible, awful drivers. Because people forget how to drive. What do I prefer? Sock, tights, stockings, or pantyhose? I wear tights most often. But like aesthetically, probably stockings. But I don't know. Maybe tights. Not sure. Not pantyhose though. Hello. Still keeping up with the user search, I see. Very fun. So yeah, it's national. Oh, sorry. Specifically, it's National Nylon Stockings Day. Very specific. E.T. the goat, welcome in. Welcome. Yeah. So very specifically, nylon stockings. I did some research, but I feel like I'm gonna run out of things to say. Why specifically nylon? Don't know. But I've learned a lot about nylon. Too specific? Kinda. Oh, it's really hot in my office. Thank you for the heart. Wow. So, I guess I can just get into it. What I learned, first of all, is I was wrong about what stockings are, like my whole life. Thank you, Tress. That's pretty good, actually. I thought that stockings were like the same thing as pantyhose, but they're not. So I guess stockings are like either knee-high or thigh typically, and pantyhose are the same as tights, where like they go all the way up and they're like pants more or less. Another whole life lesson. They are pretty good, yeah, I will admit, but I just didn't realize that they were different. So I guess we'll just get into the history lesson. Stocking as sock, but go higher on the leg. Yeah, but then what like a thigh-high sock though? A thigh-high sock is not a stocking. It has to do with like how thick they are too, I think. Based on my like 45 minutes of research. Go to the thighs? Well, yeah. But stockings can also be knee-high, apparently. So, alright. Don't stop it. Yeah, pantyhose go all the way up, and so do tights. They go all the way up. Ancient Shadow, hello, come in. So, I feel like maybe most people know this, or maybe it's just something I think. Zetario Iki, my beloved. True that, yeah. But it's annoying because they just roll down, you know? Unless you use tape or glue, or if you wear garters. But you think you're knowledgeable enough for someone who won't wear anything other than socks, allegedly. Well, what you do in your spare time is your business. I've definitely worn thigh-high socks and just had them roll down every time you take a step all day. So then I bought like skin-safe tape, sock tape that I used for a while. Garters are nice too, yeah. Now I'm too lazy and I just don't bother, unless it's for cosplay. But even then, it's just easier to like sew them onto nude tights or pantyhose, so that way you just don't have to worry about it rolling down. But they are attractive. Luckiest tape ever. What an insane comment. That's such a crazy comment. That's really good. So, alright. Stockings slash hose, they're also called hose. H-O-S-E, don't start. Were traditionally worn by men, and they've been around since the 15th century, so like the 1400s. But it wasn't so much a fashion thing as just like a, practicality thing. Also happens to be the unluckiest tape too. Interesting, why? What's the logic there? You have to expand on that. I don't. Unluckiest in what way? So, it goes thrown in the trash after, true. That's true. Well, some people wouldn't mind that, I guess. So, in the pre-1920s, stockings were worn only for warmth, and they were made of cotton, linen, wool, or silk. And then in the 1920s, because like skirt hemlines, you have to take out the garbage. Skirt hemlines and like dress hemlines got shorter. So in the 1920s, women started to wear nude colored stockings to like cover their legs, which I've never fully understood, because if you're wearing them and they're nude colored, you're still showing your legs. You're just showing fake legs. Hello, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the bonk. Hello. It's National Stockings Day. Nude colored. Yeah, like skin tone. Skin tone stockings were what was popular first. And so those first nude colored ones in the 20s were made of silk or rayon, which was called like faux silk, which is interesting. Black or white tights. Are you asking my preference or or what now? Silk or rayon. Yeah, I see. Yeah. R-A-Y-O-N, the fabric. Preference? I used to be a white tights person, but I think black tights look better. That's mostly what I wear now. For most outfits, black tights. But I still have some white tights. You didn't know you were a color? You're not, you're a fabric. What was I thinking? I didn't know if you were just commenting or if you were asking if you were asking me a question. I just wasn't sure. Michael, hello, welcome in. It's National Stockings Day, so I'm giving like a history presentation. Guess you're a fabric now. Yeah, you're like faux silk. You're very soft. Ta-da! It's spelled differently though. Instead of the A in your name, it's an O, but it's similar. So, yes. So, stockings were very PowerPoint. Yeah, it's a bullet point list. That's why I said this will be fun for me. I don't know if it'll be that fun for you guys, but I like doing presentations on stuff. So, you're a captive audience. Hello, you're in stockings, yes. Yep, it's National Stockings Day. So I'm talking about it's National Nylon Stockings Day specifically. So, talking about stockings, etc. Gives you plenty of fuel. All right. It's not even the good ones, true that, yeah. It's not even like that type of topic. I'm giving you a history lesson. So, and I learned a lot from this. In 1939, nylon was invented by a chemical company called DuPont. History. It is! Kodakazu, hello, welcome in. So I learned DuPont, the chemical company, also invented a bunch of other stuff like neoprene, Kevlar, Mylar, and Lycra, which are other fabrics. Well, I don't know if Kevlar is considered a fabric, but other polymers, I guess. Neoprene, P-R-E-N-E. It's what scuba diving suits are made out of. Neoprene. And also the DuPont company made Freon, which is, the chemical that you use in refrigerators or air conditioners or like, I think actually mostly those two things. Ice machines. Imagine bulletproof stockings, that would be cool. Yeah, Kevlar is the bulletproof thing, yeah, but I don't know if it's considered a fabric or if it's considered a plastic. It's a polymer, but maybe this is getting too technical. Anyway, so the DuPont company invented nylon in 1939, and then the first nylon stockings were in the 1940s. Don't understand the evolution of what you wear. Designer of the design. Yeah, polymer stocking. Well, nylon's technically a polymer too, so I guess. Anyway. Anyway. So nylon stockings then became super, super popular in the 40s because they were just nicer looking and felt better than the silk or rayon ones. I think they were also probably cheaper, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And at this point, they were so popular that up to 4 million pairs of nylon stockings were being purchased in a single day in the US. So, Southern Penguin? The baby boom was coming, that's true. Yeah. But then during World War II, DuPont stopped making nylon stockings because they started instead filling the niche for the US military because Japan stopped exporting silk to the US, which is what they were using for a lot of things, and instead DuPont convinced them to use nylon, so they stopped making stockings and made things like parachutes, airplane cords, and rope. Snake socket. You're just shoving your legs down a snake's throat. Oh my god. Is the snake alive? I guess not. And that day, man discovered a new fetish. Do you think that the kink came when they were that popular, or do you think the kink developed when stockings became, like, kind of niche? I feel like usually something becomes a fetish because it's niche. Anyway, should have made fishnets to raise soldiers' morale. You know what? I actually have to know, I have to question, when fishnets were made. Fishnet, like, tights or stockings. That's interesting. Parachute of the clothes. Interesting. So when DuPont stopped making nylon stockings, it led to a black market being developed in the US, because people couldn't get their hands on them anymore, but still wanted specifically nylon stockings and not any other like alternative. And in this black market period, stockings were being sold for up to $20 a pair in 1940s money, which actually, let's do, what's the word for inflation? Inflation calculator. I want to know how much that would be in today's money. I'm curious. Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov. $20 in January of 19... Let's do 41, I guess. Has the same buying power as $455. Yeah. Yeah, you already got it, Lance. Stop it. Let me do it. Let me do something. Black market would definitely turn into new kink. Fair enough, yeah. So, let's see. After the war ended, you were really close? You were extremely close, yeah. Wait, you just guessed? I thought you looked it up. That's money today. Yeah, that's a lot. So that's how bad, like, the black market was. And it kind of goes to show how important they were. You guessed? That's crazy. How important they were to women at the time, because, like, clearly, Jesus, sorry, I got a really long message from a friend and I don't care. I do care. It's just, like, there's drama happening. Anyway, so, so clearly if people were willing to spend that much on it, it was really important. But once the war ended, the DuPont chemical company started making nylon stockings again, but they couldn't meet the demand of how many people wanted them at that point in time. And because of that, there were riots between August of 1945 and March of 1946. This is all in the US specifically. They were called the Nylon Riots. And there was fights breaking out, and specifically, I am talking about women's legwear. That would be so funny to just respond like, I am streaming talking about stockings. Leave me alone. No. Lovers forever. Hello, welcome in. You can't take away life after giving it to men. I guess so. Thank you. It's National Stockings Day, which technically, I guess what I'm wearing in the cover photo is pantyhose, but close enough. It's the closest thing I have. Thank you for following me. So we're talking about like the history of stockings and such, or yeah, nylon stockings. It is also your phone wallpaper. It's one of those. You have free will, so you can do what you're gonna do, but it's one of those things. So there were fights breaking out in the streets over stockings, and also like robberies happening. Specifically, stop that. People would break into women's houses and just steal the stockings, which is odd. So there was one anecdote about women in Pittsburgh lining up to buy 13,000 pairs of stockings that were being sold, and over 40,000 women lined up to buy them. And obviously, that led to fights breaking out because the majority of people couldn't buy them. And also, this part I found funny. Because so many women were going without stockings, they used lotions, creams, or cake makeup to paint seam lines on their legs to give them the illusion of wearing nylons. So instead of wearing like the silk stockings that were available before, they just painted lines on their legs. So it looked like it. What's the point of that? Because it was considered like proper to wear nylons, and it was kind of considered improper not to. So to make it seem like you weren't a loose woman, they would paint on their legs. Is it fair? I don't know. I mean, I guess, but I think wearing the alternative makes more sense. There was a song that I found that was written about this time period too. Is it a song or was it a poem? Either way, when in Rome, I guess so. The song is called "When the Nylons Bloom Again" by George Marion Jr. and Fats Waller. And I wanted to read it to you. I haven't read it yet, so this will be fun to experience together. But this was on the Wikipedia page for nylon stockings, so I think that's cool. Swinger music. Wow, a song. I'm not singing it. I'm just going to read you the lyrics. Cause I think it's a song. Might have been a poem. Gone are the days when I'd answer the bell, find a salesman with stockings to sell. Gleam in his eye and measuring tape in hand, I get the urge to go splurging on hose. Nylons, a dozen of those. Now, poor or rich, we're enduring instead. Woolens which itch, rayons that spread. Okay, interesting. I'll be happy when the nylons bloom again. Cotton is monotonous to men. Only way to keep affection fresh, get some mesh for your flesh. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't pre-read this. I'll be happy when the nylons bloom again. Ain't no need to blow no sirens then. When the frozen hosen can appear, man, that means all clear. Frozen hosen. Working women of the USA and Britain, humble dowager or lowly debutante, will be happy as puppy or a kitten, stepping back into their nylons of DuPont. Keep on smiling till the nylons bloom again, and the WACs, W-A-C-S, come back to join their men, in a world that Mr. Wallace planned, strolling hand in hand. Amen. You thought your thing for stockings was strong. I'm sorry, I feel like I have to do something with that phrase. This is so funny. Only way to keep affection fresh, get some mesh for your flesh. You know what? Bars. My man's spitting bars. Insane. Okay. For real, yeah. USSR, we need to spy on these for reasons, comrade. Yeah. Okay. So also at that period of time, people accused... You're gonna make a metal cover of that? I know, I wonder what the actual song sounds like. I have no idea. People suspected DuPont of creating artificial scarcity by not releasing enough stockings on purpose, but actually, truthfully, they were operating at full capacity post-war, and they just weren't able to make enough to meet the demands of the time. And in response to being accused of creating this artificial scarcity, DuPont, the company, instead tried to publicly shame quote-unquote selfish housewives for hoarding the stock of stockings, which then made people more angry and bred more hostility towards the company. And because they were the company that invented nylon, they were really the only people who was able to make it, because that's how copyright laws work. But they then became the target of an antitrust lawsuit, and in order to avoid a long trial, Gummy Bear, hello, welcome. In order to avoid a long trial, they shared the nylon licensing with the Chemstrand Corporation and later other licensees. So there was then more companies able to make nylons, which then made it so there wasn't scarcity anymore. Patents, yeah. And then in the late 1940s and 1950s, the precursor to pantyhose appeared, which was some poor theater worker somewhere hand sewing stockings to the briefs of actresses. So they just sewed the stockings onto the underwear. And then after that, yeah, in 1959, the proper commercial pantyhose were introduced. And because that was considered an alternative to stockings, that became more popular because they were more convenient. And also it was convenient, but also it just made more sense. It would be a theater person, right? I had that same thought. Also because the hemlines for dresses and such were getting shorter and shorter and shorter, it just made more sense to have pantyhose because they go all the way up. So, and then in 1970, the U.S. sales of pantyhose exceeded stockings for the first time, and that's now been the case ever since. Because, yeah, people don't really buy stockings as much anymore, still to this day. Yeah. That was the history lesson. And honestly, that's all I had. Hello, Star. I was giving a history lesson on nylons. The thumbnail image, yeah. I won an art raffle back for Easter. It was very cute, right? But I did like a PowerPoint presentation on, basically, on the history of nylons. Jordan, hello, welcome. I'm now going to look at fishnets. I'm curious about when fishnets were invented. Because you'd think... Okay. They're made of nylon often, or polypropylene, merino wool. When? 1920s. Okay. The 1920s. I'm doing fine, how are you? In 1920s, fishnets emerged as a more alternative trend in the U.S. and were favored by women like showgirls. In large part due to the fact that fishnets were more revealing than typical regular stockings of the day. Yeah, that's true. You don't understand fishnets? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't understand them? Isn't it uncomfortable? It can be. Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Right? PowerPoint presentation on the history of nylons is extremely both of us coded. I know. And I didn't know if anyone would enjoy this, but it's more for me than anything. It's like a net around your leg. The stocking part isn't. It's the toes that can be uncomfortable. Thank you for the heart. Thank you for the big heart, Jordan. I appreciate it. Also, I saw, yeah, your comment on the art. It's really nice, isn't it? I won an art raffle a while ago, and a very nice artist drew it for me. So, yeah, you love hearing people infodump. I learned a lot. I thought it was cool. Did you know, Star? Koopa, hello, welcome in. Did you know that the same company that invented nylon also invented Kevlar and neoprene, and also Freon. Freon, which is strange, but yeah, so anyway, it's possible that the art is your wallpaper. Yeah, the art is Zaku's phone wallpaper. Which, that makes sense. Yeah, the Freon bros me too. The Freon is where I get I get thrown off. I'm sure they did other things too, but yeah, it's the DuPont company made all of those things. So it's interesting. But yeah, oh, sorry, to go back to it. Actually, that's a good point. We should comment on that. Yeah. You're more confused by Kevlar? That's fair. You look, yeah, you need to look more into the chemical composition of Freon. That's true. It probably makes sense somewhere. Wing, hello, welcome in. You missed my info dump about the history of nylon stockings, which maybe is a good thing. So I was saying, yeah, fishnets, the leg part is not uncomfortable, but the toes. Some companies, did you want me to start again? It only took 20 minutes. Some companies make the toe part of the fishnet tighter so your toes don't slip through, and that's more comfortable. And some companies don't. They just let your toes peek through, and that's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel great when you sit for a long time. So, and what are you talking about? What was the original idea that led to Kevlar? You know what? That's interesting. I don't know. Let me look it up. We're here now. Why not? Kevlar. Don't worry about it. I'm worrying about it. Zeke, hello, welcome. Let's see. Kevlar. It was designed. Oh, no. I don't know when it was designed, but. Oh! Interesting. Okay. The high-strength material was first used commercially in the early 1970s as a replacement for steel in racing tires. That's weird. Mooney, hello, welcome. What kind of holiday is that? It's just one of those silly national holidays. You know, when people are like, oh, it's National Pancake Day, and then IHOP is like, you can get free pancake because it's National Pancake Day. Yeah, it's just like a goofy kind of fake holiday, but Kevlar is weird. Kevlar is odd. Kevlar has many applications ranging from bicycle tires and racing sails to bulletproof vests due to its high tensile strength to weight ratio. By this measure, it's 5 times stronger than steel. Interesting. It's also used to make modern marching drum heads that withstand high impact, and for mooring lines and other underwater applications. Okay. Weird. So is hair? Yeah, that's true. We have stockings to thank for a lot more. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it is an insanely tight weave because it's not. I think it's not even really woven. It's a what did it say? It was like a poly something. It's not a polymer. It's something else. Polyparanylene. Paraphenylene. What's the fiber composition? It's got a chemical formula. It's COC6H4CONH6H4NHN. Weird topic. Have I seen Panty and Stocking? I have. I watched the original. Bless me, thanks. I watched the original Panty and Stocking, yeah, way back in the day. Yeah, chemistry stuff, yeah. So, mostly carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. For the most part. But it's an interesting combination. Yeah. How do I feel about the new Angel Twinks? Okay, I feel like this is going to make a lot of you not like me. I did not like Panty and Stocking. But that being said, I watched it when it first came out, so maybe I would like it more now, but I just don't really care about it. You said angle. I knew what you meant. You're fine. We all have those moments where brain shuts off. It's a very off-color anime. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like you didn't care for the art. Me either. I didn't really love the style, and then more so than that, I just kind of don't like things that feel edgy for the sake of being edgy. Do you know what I mean? And for me, that's how Panty and Stocking felt at the time. But maybe I would have a different opinion now, because I haven't seen it. Lucky Bommy, hello, welcome in. Very fair. Again, it's been so long. Because when did it... Hold on. When did it came out? Jesus. When did it come out? 2010. Yeah. So, I might have different feelings on it now. Oh, it was Gainax. For some reason, I thought it was Trigger that made Panty and Stocking. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it. You were still in high school? Yeah, same. But the second watch, maybe 15. Yeah, that is 15 years ago. Jesus, don't like that. But yeah, I don't know. I I wasn't a fan at the time. Oh, Gainax rebranded to Trigger? Do you think? I don't think that's true, is it? Oh, well, maybe, because it says Fate Bankruptcy. Thank you for the big heart. That's why we didn't get season 2, because of the whole Gainax. Yeah, you're right, because it does say, yeah, they were bankrupt. Alright, then what? Hold on. Scrolling down to the bottom of the Wikipedia page for Gainax. This is they made Princess Maker? What? Huh? Okay. I'm learning. They made a mahjong... They made a strip mahjong game featuring Evangelion characters. I don't need to... I'm all set on that one. That's what it says on the Gainax page, yeah. It says... Gainax has also produced a number of computer games, including a strip mahjong game featuring Evangelion characters, and its most famous, the Princess Maker series, later adapted as Puchi Puri Yushi. That's wild. Wikipedia, thank you. With the Italian groove, yeah, that's mahjong. Yeah. Yeah. Like a solitaire mahjong or actual mahjong? You know, I would assume solitaire mahjong, but it doesn't say, and there's not a page for that game. Oh wait, is it this one? Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can figure it out. No, I don't know if I can. No, I'm not sure. I don't think I can. I didn't realize that Petite Princess Yusi was a adaptation of Princess Maker. We've gotten so off track. All right, let me Nylon Stockings, fun facts, because we did the history lesson. You'd imagine non-solitaire mahjong if it's strip mahjong. That's true. That's true. All right, there's a Reuters article, 5 facts about stockings. Let's see if that's anything different than what I have here. Nope, these are all just talking about the same thing I've already said. The history. Those aren't enough facts. I want new facts. Interesting facts. Where? 20 fun facts about stockings and pantyhose. Okay. And then here's another one. Let's see if there's anything different. The pop-up that comes up every time you go on a website if you're using an ad blocker and they get mad. The cat paw on the feet. Those are cute. I don't own any of those. I haven't worn those, but they're cute. Okay, let's see. Oh, the term hosiery is derived from the Anglo-Saxon word hosen, which means covering. That's cool. Oh, interesting. Before the 20th century, there are very few references to women's hosiery because any public mention of women's legs was considered highly inappropriate. That makes sense. That makes sense for the ankle shamers. Fun fact for mahjong fans. Ooh, exciting. What's the fun fact? Salute, ankle, yeah. No showing ankle, guys. That's why I wear sandals. So I can always see them. For a long time, and potentially still to this day, the Final Fantasy 14? 16. 14. Mahjong was the most realistic, accurate to the actual game virtual Mahjong, and people used to and maybe still do sub to the game. Wow. That's crazy. Solely for that Mahjong. Wow. Adblocker 360 is your ad stop. Maybe I'll check that one out. Ankle shamer, so that's the easy way to say it. That's interesting. That's interesting. But it makes sense that they put a lot of effort into the Mahjong. People get so into it. Let's see. Oh, initially, stockings were worn by European kings and noblemen to make horseback riding easier. Okay. Weird. Wild woman, hello, welcome in. Yeah, stockings originally had no elastic and had to be held up by garter belts. Knew that. I knew that. How it helps with horseback riding? You know, I don't know. To stop friction? I'm wondering if it's to stop friction or if it's to add friction, to make it easier to grip. Because the stockings, because they used to be made out of cotton or wool, right? Stop chafing? That's true. Could be that. Yeah, could be. Certainly could be. Seeing if any of these other facts are things I haven't already said, but I think most of them are just historical facts that I've already listed. to add friction. Stop it. Well, this is more of a pantyhose fact, but, you know, the garter belt was invented by a philosopher. What was he pondering? What was the ponderance that led to that? That's interesting. Pantyhose were first created by a man named Allen Gant Sr. who owned a textile company. No, I think this means commercial pantyhose, but he began manufacturing pantyhose when his pregnant wife Ethel demanded he create a stocking that combined underwear and hosiery when her pregnancy made it too difficult for her to adjust her stockings and garters. That makes sense, yeah? She created a prototype and had her husband do the rest of the work. Okay. It's interesting. Yeah, it's understandable. It'd be hard to deal with. In high school, I took a class that was like, what was it called? It was like early. It was by Immanuel Kant. Kant invented garter belt? That's crazy. All right. What a man. What a lad. Spaghetti, hello, welcome in. Give me one moment. I'm going to blow my nose and then I'll drink some water. Hold on. Okay. This fun fact says, I'll take a sip first. Okay. Bless me, I didn't sneeze. You have to get going. Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you later. I'll get back to your text later. I saw it, but could not read it yet. Sickies, no, I just have allergies. I'm allergic to dust, and we're moving soon, and that means we're stirring up a lot of dust while we're packing. Yeah, it's been fun. No rush. Okay. The humidity makes your nose run. Interesting. Sorry, I was yawning. You mean it? Okay. Okay, but I'm at least gonna read it soon. Yes, thank you. Thank you for checking on me. Ruben, hello, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Thursday. What day is it? It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. It's National Nylon Stocking Day. So I did a fun little history presentation on stockings. This fact says, if you're thinking of immersing yourself into jellyfish-infested waters, wearing a pair of pantyhose may prevent stings. Interesting. You don't want to relive this week? Have you had a bad week, Kupo? I'm sorry. This week has been something. No, it's stocking day. I don't know the day. Yeah. It's because I go based on my stream schedule. I knew it was Tuesday or Thursday because I'm not at work. But, yeah. It's not going down yet. Humidity, maybe you shower now. Yeah. Hitting the juice a little too much? I'm not. I just have water, I swear. Alright. Gonna look at more facts about stockings and such. Trying to find more. Okay, yeah, Friday Eve. I did hear that, yeah. What did someone call it earlier? It was like pre-Friday. I think pre-Friday. Which is fun. Okay, this says, the difference between socks and stockings is their size. While sock and stocking are interchangeably used terms throughout the history of footwear, there is a difference: length. Stockings are longer and typically worn up to the knees to cover portions of the leg that breeches don't cover. On the other foot, socks hit mid-calf or lower and became popular as men's long trousers became fashionable. But again, there's thigh-high socks now. A pun? Yeah, I enjoyed that. But there's thigh-high socks, so anyway. Looking for more facts. But again, most of these are... Oh, pantyhose were first called panty legs. Panty legs. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't say. Okay. This just says that they were just called panty legs. That's fun. The decorative side of a sock is called a clock. I think that that's fake. I don't think that that's real. While most socks don't keep time, the area around the ankle, where a pattern may run up the side of the leg, is called the clock. The term may come from the way a stitched or woven vertical pattern can look like clock hands from a distance. That seems fake. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's a real fact. I'm gonna be honest. That seems not real. I don't know about that one. Oh, here's the jellyfish thing again. Even though pantyhose have fallen out of style, they still have some versatile uses even for men. Wearing pantyhose or sheer leg coverings in jellyfish-infested waters may help prevent stings. Some jellyfish species have short stingers that can't make it through the thin nylon mesh of pantyhose. Okay. But just like some legendary cures for jellyfish stings, studies have shown that pantyhose defense isn't a guaranteed trick, as the tentacles can adhere to the outside of the pantyhose. Okay. Jellyfishing. SpongeBob. Jellyfishing! Yeah, SpongeBob. Bunny hose? Why bunny hose? Why? Have you guys been stung by jellyfish before? I certainly have. That's cute. Yeah, well, yes. When I was little, no, try to avoid it. It's not fun. I said little. When I was in middle school, I was swimming with a friend at the beach, and there was a lot of really small jellyfish that we didn't see. Firmly grasp the jellyfish net. True. Animal Crossing new leaf count? No. It burned after? Yeah, it does. There was a lot of small jellyfish, and we didn't see them until it was too late, and my friend got stung mostly on her legs, but I had a small jellyfish get stuck in my swimsuit top and sting me several times on the chest. And then, yeah, had to go to the first aid tent, and the lifeguard working the first aid tent was like a probably college-age boy, and I was a middle school girl, and so of course it was like, okay, where did you get stung? And both my friend and I were like, is there a lady we can talk to, please? Can I please talk to a woman? And he didn't understand the problem. So, yeah. Eventually, he was like, I'll just give you the bottle of ammonia solution. And was there a lady? There wasn't. No, all of the lifeguards on duty were men. So maybe the man no more. Maybe, but I didn't want to show my bare chest to this college-age boy. Okay? I was at the age where you get self-conscious about your body. So I might have been a high school freshman, actually. I don't know. But it was around that age. So eventually he was like, I'll just give you the bottle of ammonia and you two can help each other. You two can figure it out. And we were like, okay, thank you. Hello. Hi. We're talking about nylon stockings. It's Nylon Stocking Day. So I did a little history presentation, which was, interesting to me. Talk about drinking from a fire. Yeah. Death. Hello, Death. Welcome. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. What other information can I find about stockings? I feel like I've pretty much run the gamut of things we can talk about here, but, you have to go now. Bye, Trust. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening to my yap about stockings. If it wasn't so hot, I would go put some on just to be in theme, but it's too warm in here. Stockings are sexy, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree, but it's just way too hot. I don't have like a fan or anything. Wait. No, I got rid of that fan. I think that fan broke. I had one, but it broke. So, was how they were dyed black then interesting or just normal? Yeah, when did they become a dropping knowledge? Yeah, when? Hold on. Nylon stockings. Black. Dyeing. I don't know how to dyeing with the E in it. I don't know when that happened. Yeah. No, I'm not looking how to dye them. I know that. History. Their original color, yeah. Because I think they were nude originally. But, oh, no, actually, the first experimental stockings were manufactured by Union Hosiery Company for DuPont with a cotton seam and a silk welt and toe. The welt is the ankle part. They were black because scientists hadn't yet figured out how to get the material to take flesh-colored dye. So, the first ones were black. That's really cool. Okay. Thank you, Smithsonian.org. Smithsonianmag.org. Nice. That's cool. I didn't know that. All right. This is fun. I'm scrolling through this Smithsonian article now to see if there's anything else interesting. One of the other hurdles to be overcome was the fact that the nylon distorted when exposed to heat. Developers eventually learned to use that property to their advantage by stretching newly sewn stockings over leg-shaped forms and steaming them. The result was silky, smooth, form-fitting hosiery that never needed ironing. That's fair. That's kind of how we sew anyway. Keep it the same, but just keep it the same. Yeah, for real. Nature knows what's up. Yeah. I don't know if the fabric itself was black originally, or if they dyed them black because they couldn't get it to take any other color dye. Because the lighter the dye color, sometimes the weirder it is to actually do. What? Oh, no, they're sort of bluish. The first pair of experimental nylons, there's a photo. They have them still. The first pair exists still in the Smithsonian collections. That's really cool. Blue. Yep, alright. It's kind of like, yeah, like a denim-y color blue. And then the parts of it that are cotton, or silk, the parts of it that are silk at the toes and the ankle and the very top is like maroon, kind of red-ish, brownish, reddish. That's just cool. Yeah. Nylon was touted as having the strength of steel and the sheerness of cobwebs. Not that women were jonesing for the feel of steel or cobwebs around their legs, but the properties of nylon promised a replacement for the luxurious but also delicate silk that was prone to snag and run. Nylon also snags and runs a lot, so the proto-hose, yeah. Museum of Natural History, ladies and gentlemen, yes. What do you mean, toes, Abe? This is cool. Yeah, let me see. Nylon stockings made their grand debut in a splashy display at the 1939 World's Fair in New York. That makes sense. By the time stockings were released for sale to the public on May 15th, 1940... Oh, so that's why May 15th is stocking day, because it was the first day they were sold. Isn't that cool? Okay. The demand was so high that women flocked to stores to buy the thousands. Flocked to stores by the thousands. 4 million pairs of stockings sold out in just 4 days. That's crazy. You thought it would be LA? I can see why, but the World's Fair in New York was where, like, so many things were released for the first time in this country. Imagine the presentation. That would be crazy. This whole thing would be weird. Okay. Nylon became a household word in less than a year, and in all the history of textiles, no other product has enjoyed the immediate, overwhelming public acceptance of DuPont nylon. Wow. Behold! Leggings! Look at this! We can cover your legs now. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. The name may have become synonymous with stockings, but hosiery was merely the market of choice for nylon's introduction. According to the American Chemical Society... Time to rip! Stop it! No, leave them alone. They rip on their own anyway. It's hard to keep them from ripping. According to the American Chemical Society, it was a well-calculated decision. They state on their website, the decision to focus on hosiery was crucial. It was a limited premium market. When you want to develop a new fiber for fabrics, you need thousands of pounds, said Crawford Greenwalt, a researcher supervisor during nylon development who later became company president and CEO. All we needed was to make a few grams at a time, enough to knit one stocking. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Strategic ripping? At least wait until they rip themselves, okay? They're expensive now. Let them get a little tear in themselves and then whatever. Go nuts. Interesting. Okay. Nylon's impact on fashion was immediate, but the revolution sparked by the invention of what was originally called Fiber 66 rapidly extended its tendrils down every facet of society. It has given rise to a world of plastics that renders our lives nearly unrecognizable from civilizations of a century ago. I mean, yes. There's a whole series of synthetic materials that indeed came from the base idea that chemists can design and develop a series of materials that had certain properties and the ability to do it from the most basic molecules. Wow, this is very educational, thank you. Cultural too, yeah. I thought it would be fun. Therein lies the true revolution of nylon. Synthetic materials were not completely new, but until the breakthrough of nylon, no useful fibers had ever been synthesized entirely in the laboratory. Semi-synthetics such as rayon and cellophane were derived from a chemical process that required wood pulp as a basic element. Manufacturers were stuck with the natural properties plant material brought to the table. Rayon, for instance, was too stiff, ill-fitting, and shiny to be embraced as a replacement for real silk, which is, of course, merely the chemical processing of wood pulp in the belly of a silkworm, rather than a test tube. I didn't know that it was specifically wood pulp in the silkworm. Once at a, like, country fair, county fair, whatever, I went and they had silkworms, and you could process silk yourself. Like, they had the cocoons, and you could spin it into silk. It was interesting. Cute, hello, welcome. Talking about nylon stockings. It's stocking day. Nylon, on the other hand, not only made for great stockings, but was manufactured through human manipulation of nothing more than coal, air, and water, a mantra often repeated by its promoters. Hello, hello, lurking said you're working. Okay, good work. Keep working. Those poor silkworms, yeah, kinda. When did they start being popular in other countries? Stockings? Interesting. Yeah, let's see. Nylon. Nylon stockings. World popularity. Let's see. I don't know. Apparently they had global popularity. No, I get that, but when? Nylons, hold on. Popularity outside of the US. The US. Trying to type. It just says it became worldwide, but that's, I want to know, like, when, specifically when. That seems to not be something that you can find. There's a Reddit post that came up, r/female fashion advice. Why are tights so unpopular in the US? They're not. Nylons are out of fashion, but opaque, dark-colored tights are everywhere. Yeah, they are. Maybe for more specific, like when in Japan, yeah. I mean, I could probably... Hold on. Let me search for it in Japanese and see if that helps. I feel like that would help. Let's see. Ninki. Not ranking. Let's see. Okay, yeah. 1930s in America. Well, wait, hold on. Hang on. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. Was it in the 30s also? When were they brought over? I guess is the other question. It seems like they didn't get popular for 15 to 20 years after? Possibly. Still good questions. Yeah. H2O, hello, welcome. This is odd. Okay. When did nylon stockings import to Japan? Oh, you already looked it up, Michael? 1946 to 1966. Yeah, that seems right with what I read in Japanese. They're like 15, 20 years later. Yeah. Japan. I cannot type and speak at the same time. Yeah, weird. Sorry, now I'm just typing. Yeah, so they were made nationwide on May 15th, 1940. But then... I can't seem to find, yeah, specifics. It is interesting, though, because clearly they are popular in Japan now. So, So stockings are basically a must-have for all of humanity. I guess so, you know? Let's see. Alright, let me type this differently. This is not the answer. It's the Google AI thing just being so unhelpful all the time. It's giving you information that you know is incorrect. Yeah. Alright, not sure specifically, but I mean, it's interesting. Hate that thing, me too. I wish you could just turn it off. Why can't you just not turn it off? Anyway. So, we must fight American soldiers, but I am distracted by this beautiful Sugoi stockings. These beautiful women's legs. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That would be distracting enough, yeah. Yeah, it's talking about, like, the chemical process. Seeing if I can find anything more interesting here. That we haven't already read about. I still think the wearing leg makeup is interesting. When they couldn't get stockings, painting seams down the back of their legs with makeup to make it look like they're wearing stockings. Very weird. But you know, I guess that's fair. Whatever you have to do, right? The nylon riots, and pantyhose. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So yeah, pantyhose were more popular from the 60s to the 80s, and then by the 90s, women looking for comfort and freedom began to go au naturel, leaving their legs bare as often as not. In 2006, the New York Times referred to the hosiery industry as an industry that lost its footing. I didn't realize that it was popular up through the 90s. I'm gonna be honest. That's not something I realized. That, like, pantyhose were that big of a deal. I mean, I've never worn pantyhose, so I guess that should say something, but, In the last 30 years, sheer pantyhose have done a complete 180, devolving into fashion no-nos, except for sheer black and in offices where dress codes prohibit bare legs. Okay, if that was the dress code, that would be really irritating. Office dress codes are already crazy. Sure, perms, yeah, perms. I remember that for sure. The mere mention of pantyhose ruffles some women's feathers. Okay, I think that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but... In 2011, Forbes writer Megan Caserly blogged that they were oppressive, sexist, tacky, and just plain ugly. She was striking out against one pantyhose manufacturer's campaign to reinvigorate the market among younger women. I don't know if you can call them ugly when they're just skin-colored. They don't look any different than your legs, other than the fact that they don't have pores, you know? But they're the same. The point is that they're supposed to look like your legs, but with, like, smoother skin, right? So... Fashion editor for the Washington Post takes a more subdued stance. I wouldn't say they're tacky, they're just not part of the conversation. They're a non-issue in fashion. True. You don't like her opinion? Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, she's not talking about stockings. She's talking about pantyhose, like the sheer ones, skin-colored ones. But, I mean, yeah. I think... Yeah, even at formal affairs... fashion writer Robin Givon, or Javon possibly, says bare legs are now the norm. I think there's a certain generation of women that feel that they're not properly dressed in a polished way unless they're wearing them. That's true. But I think they're going the way of the dodo bird, she says. I don't think there's even the slightest chance that they're coming back. Yeah, probably not. But, I mean, stockings are their own thing, right? They're their own thing. Because I think those are more of a fashion item than a utility. Specific niche, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Gotta enjoy pantyhose? I don't know. Legs are nice and a stocking for decoration. I don't know, I don't like the nude pantyhose. I think there's no point in wearing them. But, like, yeah, sheer black ones. The sheer black ones are good. What about colored ones, though? What about, like, colored before enjoy them before they go extinct? I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's gonna be that bad, but maybe. But yeah, what about colored stockings and such? I feel like black are the prettiest ones, because they're, like, kind of default. I don't know about other ones. I've definitely seen, like, red in the fall, especially, but I don't know if I like it necessarily. Maybe red would be nice, maybe. Black's very common, yeah, black's the most common, but I feel like it's... I don't know. It's sleek. it's pretty. It's sleek and chic and just nice. Situational, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think they're nice. But yeah, I feel like I feel like that's it. I feel like that's all I had to say. Maybe I'll go now and have dinner before my collab stream with Eddie later on YouTube. Blue is the default. Black, blue, and occasion green. Green is interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen green stockings. I would be for that, you know? That'd be interesting. Green would be cool. But I don't know. I guess it depends on the color, the shade of green, right? But yeah, I'm for it. Christmas stockings. Right, yeah, Christmas stock. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay. GT Pro, hello. It's National Stockings Day. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome. I'm towing the line a little bit. You can get in trouble with staff if you have too, like, lewd of an image as a thumbnail. I feel like I'm towing the line a tiny bit, but I think it's okay. It's not explicit, right? It's fine. Just a little. Yeah. I try to be really not really subtle. I try to be middle of the road subtle. Better than the main one. I would not use that as a thumbnail. Well, if it was cropped so you can't see the bottom half of the image, then it would be fine, right? You'd be lurking. I think I'm gonna end stream actually, but thank you, my love. I'm gonna end so I can go have dinner before I have my collab stream with Eddie. You learned about stockings today, thanks to Teacher Lily. Thank you. Thanks for listening to me yap. This was fun. I enjoyed this little presentation. If you guys did too, maybe I'll do more in the future about other topics. But actually, I know that I'll do one about idol culture stuff at some point. You're educated as well. Very educational. Study. All right, anyway. It all comes back to Golden Boy land. Enough! Lily wife is great. Q, did you ever think that maybe you shouldn't be, like, openly flirting with me in Fizzy's server of all places? What? There's a time and place, right? Anyway. Not actually yelling, it's fine. Yes, okay, so, whatever, I'll share screenshots. I'll put Q on blast. You have nothing to hide. Yeah, I know, but what if it makes Fizzy feel bad? You know? What if it makes Fizzy feel bad? So, Move, hello, welcome in. Unfortunately, I'm ending stream now. We talked about stockings. It's National Stocking Day. Isn't that neat? Okay, I will see you guys later if you are a YouTube viewer. Streaming with Eddie in 2.5 hours. And, other than that, tomorrow, streaming karaoke and also probably drinking at 9 p.m. EST. Do the conversions yourself. Thank you all. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, regardless of if I see you. Bye, go eat. Okay. Otility, thank you for hanging out with me. Bye-bye, Otility.